This looks like a bad situation. How would you handle it? Fog, rain, snow, heavy winds, it can be hell out here. And when they combine, well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather be inside relaxing by the fire. Bad weather demands more than just knowing your rig and how it handles in different kinds of weather. You also need to have a grasp on how roads are affected by the prevailing conditions. When visibility and traction are reduced, you need to be mentally prepared, focused, and aware of your environment to avoid an incident or crash. You need to take appropriate actions when you run into extreme weather conditions. Often this means slowing down, but other precautions may need to be taken as well. In this program, we'll talk about extreme weather conditions: fog, rain, snow, ice, and complex combinations of these that can be violent, unpredictable, and deadly. They affect how well you can see, as well as how much traction your rig has on the road. They can make every decision you make a critical one. Driving in ugly weather may be the toughest part of your job. The best thing you can do in extreme weather is be prepared ahead of time, before you even step inside the cab. How do you do that? It's simple. You always be prepared. Expect the worst. Be ready for it. If everything goes well, that's great, but be thankful for it. For starters, being prepared means making sure your rig's parts, systems, and equipment are in good operating condition. It also means being focused on the job at hand. Don't take this step lightly. Conduct a regular and thorough inspection before you hit the road. If there's a chance you might encounter extreme weather conditions, take extra measures to make sure your rig is ready. This includes checking your coolant and antifreeze levels, heating and cooling equipment, windshield wipers and washer fluid, tire pressure, chains, and emergency equipment. You also want to be sure your radio works. How can you expect to stay informed when road conditions ahead go bad if you can't tune in to weather forecasts and reports? Take time to check your radio. Fog is the most common visibility problem for drivers. With limited visibility, your ability to judge distance is severely reduced. When you can't see more than 7 vehicle lengths ahead, slow down. 20 to 30 miles an hour should be your maximum speed. If you can't see 3 vehicle lengths ahead, your speed should be no more than 10 to 15 miles an hour. And at this point, you should probably also be questioning why you're on the road in the first place. In the end, how fast you travel is up to you, but consider how long it would take you to stop if there were a stalled car, an animal, or a crash scene ahead of you. Keep your headlights on. Low beams work best in fog and other low visibility weather conditions. Your lights not only help you see better, they also help others see you better. Your wipers can be helpful too. Use them to clear fine mist from your windshield. And don't forget, whether you can see it falling or not, fog contains a lot of moisture. Use your wipers. If visibility is near zero, find a safe place to pull over until conditions improve. Believe me, the alternative is not a risk you want to take. While fog is the most common visibility problem, rain is the most common weather problem overall. If it's raining hard enough, your visibility can be cut as much as it would be in severe fog. Chances are you've been there once or twice. Heavy rain can also cause your rig to hydroplane and lose contact with the pavement if you're traveling too fast. Think it can happen? Good luck. More commonly, traction is reduced when rain mixes with dirt, oil, and grease on the road. This combination can make pavement extremely slick. Of course, there are a lot of factors that determine the amount of traction you have, including the type and weight of your rig, the condition and inflation of your tires, the type of road surface, as well as road and air temperatures. Use common sense and reduce your speed to increase traction and control of your vehicle.
visibility is reduced due to inclement weather, the best thing to do is to reduce your speed, be prepared to stop at any given moment.
You can avoid hydroplaning by slowing down. The faster you travel, the more likely you are to hydroplane.
In much of the country, colder temperatures mean snow. Falling and blowing snow contribute to both reduced visibility and reduced traction. As with fog and rain, low beam headlights and properly functioning windshield wipers can help increase visibility in snowy conditions. Reduced traction from snow on the road demands extra caution. Be sure to reduce your speed to allow for increased stopping distances. Even at slow speeds, accelerating, steering, and braking should be done smoothly and carefully to minimize the chance of skidding. You may even want or need to use chains, but you should know the laws and requirements for chains in the area you drive. In some places, the use of chains is against the law, while in others, they're required. If you do use chains, make sure you know how to mount them correctly. Also know your company's policy on tire chains and act accordingly. Snowy conditions can be the most demanding, so give yourself plenty of time and be extra alert. Simple caution may save your life and the lives of others. When colder road temperatures combine with rain or snow, the result can be treacherous. Icy roads account for the slickest of conditions, even when visibility is good. Black ice is an even bigger hazard. It's difficult or impossible to see on the road surface, especially at night.
When road conditions are icy, your vehicle virtually has no traction with the pavement at all. So the best possible thing you can do is just get the vehicle parked and wait it out. But if you have to drive, you're going to have to keep your speed down to like 15, 20 miles per hour. Now that might get a little old after a while. The driver might start to pick up their speed, and that's when trouble's going to start happening. And the other thing that can happen too, sometimes when it's icy, it's very windy, and that wind will just blow the vehicle around wherever it wants to, and you're virtually out of control. So my best advice is just park the vehicle, stop, wait it out.
You'll know that the chance for roads freezing over is high when ice begins to form on the front of your mirrors. Just run your fingers over it. If there's ice back there, there'll be ice on the road. Another clue is road spray. If there's no spray from the tires of other vehicles, yet conditions have been rainy or snowy, ice is likely to be forming. Take extra caution on bridges and overpasses. Ice will form here first. If you anticipate changing weather conditions, be ready for it. Get some extra space between you and the vehicle in front of you. Increase your braking distance 4 to 10 times of what you would allow on dry pavement. Improper braking can lock up your brakes. If you have anti-lock brakes or ABS, be sure to apply them and keep the pressure on to slow down safely. If you need to accelerate or decelerate, do it carefully. Either can cause you to skid. Back off on the turns. Oversteering or improper steering can cause you to skid out of control. And take your time. The last thing you want to deal with is a jackknife caused by your braking or steering errors. One simple rule of thumb pretty much covers it all. Make no sudden moves. If you drive a semi-tractor and trailer, or any large, high-profile vehicle for that matter, you know that you're especially vulnerable to the effects of wind, particularly if you have a light load, a top-heavy load, or a combination of units. As wind speed increases, the applied force on your rig increases even more. This makes it extremely difficult for you to maintain control. When wind speeds are 50 miles an hour or more, controlling a rig is a challenge. When winds are over 60, just about any vehicle can be put in the ditch. Combined with conditions that decrease traction, such as rain, snow, or ice, extreme wind conditions can cause your rig to skid, jackknife, or roll over, no matter how careful you are. It's critical that you know what to do. First, be prepared for the worst. Watch for high wind warning signs. Listen to the radio for weather alerts and updates. Communicate with your dispatcher about your location and weather conditions. Finally, if you're driving in high wind conditions, proceed with caution. Keep both hands on the wheel, an eye on the mirrors, and reduce your speed. Steer slightly into the wind to improve control of your vehicle. And be ready for sudden wind gusts, especially on overpasses and bridges, and when coming out of tunnels, or while driving near canyons or in flat, open areas. If wind conditions worsen while driving, look for visual cues such as bent trees, choppy water, fully extended flags, and flying debris. And when you no longer feel in full control of your vehicle, it's time to pull over until conditions improve. This is not a time to tough it out. Knowing how to respond to all the severe weather conditions you encounter will keep you and others on the road safe. Simple fact, bad weather is always going to slow you down.
Winds, even with a heavy load, can be a problem, as gusting winds can cause us to shift lanes unexpectedly, thereby endangering other traffic that might be around us.
If there's going to be high winds or tornadoes, there will be a lot of warnings that you can take advantage of, and you just need to know where you are in relationship to that. Also, you need to know as a driver that you have the authority and the ability to shut that rig down and stop it when you need to be safe.
Preparing your vehicle and taking the proper precautions in extreme weather conditions can keep you and your rig on the road and out of trouble. Take the weather seriously. Drive your own trip. This looks like a bad situation. How would you handle it? Your options are limited to one. Back off and give everybody as much room as possible. Check your speed. No matter what speed you're traveling, when you encounter a situation like this, you want to drop back and avoid becoming part of the action. The potential for disaster is simply too high to risk.